Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 24 with and I can say this for the first time, defending champion Chicago Cubs. If that doesn't deserve a like, a subscribe, and a comment below, I don't know what does. We are coming off of our first World Series championship. We had a pretty mellow offseason right until spring training started. And I made a pretty substantial trade at spring training, right before spring training, that I want to show you guys here right now. We talked about our middle infield, right? And moving on from Dansby Swanson, moving Tim Anderson to short, and then playing Mikey Romero at second. I wasn't content with that. So I went out and I got what I think is the best defensive shortstop in the game right now. So I will show you the deal that we made. We traded Jake Watkin, 19-year-old. We drafted, I think, in the second round a couple of years ago, listed as a first baseman. The bat looks okay. I don't know that he's ever going to hit for enough contact, but he looks all right. Mike Downs, who was another minor league outfielder, which we had a large surplus of. So you can see the names we gave up here. Angel Shavili, they have him listed as a starter. We had him as a reliever. His ARB number gets to be pretty substantial next season. And Juan Corella, who we had just picked up from the Yankees earlier in the offseason. So 4 big players, 2 big prospects and a couple of pitchers to the Blue Jays in exchange for Mike Campbell. Now, Campbell's not going to hit a ton. He's got some power. So should put up a decent OPS through on-base percentage and slugging. He's not going to hit for a super high average, but look at his defense. An 80 infield range at shortstop. The error is not great, but he's going to get to a ton of balls. Great infield arm, great turn double plays, a captain, leader, loyalty, work ethic is all high. Put up 2.8 WAR last season while putting up a 75 OPS as a rookie. So we gave up a lot. Got a couple prospects that I wasn't too fussed about. I mean, Watkin still a ways away. In Downs, we've got 3 or 4 defensive outfielders that are better than Downs. Giving up Shavili, again, not a huge concern just because he's going to be asking for a lot of money next year. Corella, I tried to make it work without Corella, and I couldn't. So we got 4 big pieces for Mike Campbell. So let me know what you think of that deal. He's going to be great defensively. It's going to allow us to play Tim Anderson at shortstop and then play Mikey Romero as our DH, which is the long-term plan. So it still leaves us with a really deep pitching staff. We've got Santana, who we picked up in that deal with the Yankees last season, Burns, Paddock, Contreras, whose ratings have dipped a little bit, but then Andre Palante. So we're not super deep in the rotation, but Santana, Burns, Paddock, Contreras are a pretty good top 4. And then our bullpen is still stacked with Vinicio, Abreu. We signed Dwayne Underwood to a 1-year contract. Pitched pretty well in Texas last season. So Carson Coleman, Eduardo Nunez, so we still have some depth in our bullpen. I don't know if our pitching staff's going to be quite as good this year, but we will see how it goes. Burns is out, and we gotta do our cut down, so we'll do that here. So it's 19 pitchers on our roster. I gotta get that down to 13. So Espinoza, Gray can both go down. Espinoza's got to be DFA'd. That is fine. 4 more pitchers have to go to the minors, huh? Okay. Do we want to send Ethan Roberts down? Yeah, I was thinking maybe if he was a ground ball guy, that movement wouldn't be quite as bad. But Roberts, I didn't want to send him to AA. It's okay, I'll fix it. Chase Watkins, he's got to go to AAA. We still got to send 2 more down. Ben Brown, because he's an extreme fly ball guy. And then 1 more. So we've got ground ball, neutral. Yeah, we don't have any fly ball pitchers on our team, which is the way I want it. Palencia? Yeah, Palencia. All right, so there is our 13-man rotation. Burns, Paddock will be our number 2. Santana as our number 3. Contreras, and then Palante. Vinicio as our closer. It wants Abreu and Coleman as the setup men. Actually, I want Coleman as setup / middle relief. And Underwood as a middle reliever. It wants Foster Griffin more often. I'm not crazy about that. So we'll go normal usage, and then Eduardo Nunez can be used more often. I don't think he has drastic splits. Actually, he does. He's really good against righties and just okay against lefties. What about Underwood? He doesn't have splits. So we'll go with Underwood, use more often as a middle reliever. We'll run like that. Yeah. So that leaves us with 30. So we got to send 4 batters down to the minors. And that'll be Abreu, Wilkin, Tommy White, and Poisson. Okay, so Abreu is going to have to be DFA'd, which is a shame. He was one of our originals, right? He was one of our originals. Poisson, I mean, we can DFA him. I don't think anybody's going to take him. If somebody does, I mean, is anybody interested in him? He's still a relatively young player. No, that's fine. We can just DFA him. All right. So that gets us to 26. Let's set our lineups, and we will play opening day. All right, so against righties, let's clear the depth charts too. So our lineup looks pretty similar, right? I mean, Bregman will lead off. Tim Anderson will bat second. Do we want to bat? I think I want to bat Mikey Romero third. His bat is really good against right-handed hitters. Casey Schmidt's been our number 3 hitter for the last 3 years, but maybe we've had Acuna in the 4 spot, right? So let's do Acuna, Schmidt, Bubba. We need center field, shortstop, and catcher. So our center fielder's PCA. Shortstop is Mike Campbell, and the catcher is Drew Romo. Generate depth charts. Aliendo can start every 4th game. We want Romero starting a couple of days a week at various positions. Can he play first base? He's 6'1". I guess technically he can play first base. He can also play third. Every 10th game at short just to give him some playing time. RJ Mayer isn't going to play much against righties. The bat isn't good enough. Against lefties, it'll be a different story. So let's copy and paste. Against lefties, we're going to change things up. Schmidt will be our number 3 hitter against lefties. Wagner's got a really good bat against lefties. I think Romero is still pretty good against left-handed hitting, though. I think we do this. And Romero can play, a bit more against lefties than he does. Maybe not a bit more, but he'll get some starts against lefties, I think. Start him every 3rd game against lefties at DH. RJ Mayer every 3rd game in center field against lefties. I'm okay with that. Once a week in right field, and then once every 10 games in left field. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. All right, let's get to opening day. And this will be the I guess the May and June episode, right? Or how do we do this? How do I normally do this? I can't even remember at this point. Play until the middle of May? Yeah, play until the middle of May. I normally sim April, don't I? I can't remember. I can't remember. My brain is broken right now, guys. World Series champions. Still love to hear that. 2016 and 2027. Reached the playoffs. We do not have a top 10 prospect. Where's our minor league system? 11th. We've got Necker, who's 18th, Andrade, who is 34th, and Alkins, who is 43, our number 1 pick a year ago, starting in high A ball. So we have 3 top 100 prospects. Angulo is back in 8 weeks. So that'll give us another piece in the bullpen. And I think let's look at waiver. Let's get the waiver wire real quick. See if we have any pitchers there. Yep, Lithser Sosa, rather. He looks really good. I'll take a flyer on him, I think. See if anybody claims him ahead of us. No bats. Yeah. All right. So let's play this opening day game at Pittsburgh. So Bregman, Anderson, Romero, Acuna, Schmidt, Thompson, PCA, Campbell, Romo, Corbin Burns on the mound. 15-5, 3.95 a year ago. Cabrian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, Nolan Gorman, Andy Rodriguez, Gavin Sheets, Trevor Story, Jack Sawinski, Bobby Witt Jr., and Jared Jones, who was 7-13, 4.98 a year ago. I am recording. I do have audio. I should have checked all that ahead of time. But we are underway in defense of our World Series championship on the road in Pittsburgh. Jared Jones, Corbin Burns, Alex Bregman grounds out to short. One away. TA7. Line drive to left. Diving catch made out there. And Mikey Romero draws 2-out walk. Gets it to Acuna. Throw down to first. Acuna with a base hit to center. Romero will reach third. So runners at the corners now. 2 outs for Casey. And Schmidt grounds out to short to end the inning. So we threaten but don't score. Bottom of the first, Corbin Burns kicks things off. A 15-game winner for us last year. 1 out. Reynolds fly ball to left. There's a running catch out in left field by Acuna. And O'Neill Cruz draws a 2-out walk. Nolan Gorman strikes out, and that retires the side. Bubba now. Flies out to center to get the inning started. PCA. Hit by a pitch. Here comes Campbell. And he bloops it to center. Catch is made. 2 away. And Romo strikes out to end the inning. Andy Rodriguez strikes out. Sheets strikes out. And Trevor Story strikes out. Burns strikes out the side. Back to the top of the order. Bregman blooper to left. Catch made. Tim Anderson drops the bunt down. And is called out on strikes. And Mikey Romero is also called out on strikes. Sawinski to first. Bobby Witt Jr. He's a strikeout victim. Cabrian Hayes, fly ball to right, and we're down 1-0 as Hayes goes Oppo Taco, solo home run to right center. And Reynolds, they go back-to-back off Corbin Burns here in the fourth, or in the third, rather. Neil Cruz in front of the plate. 2 solo home runs for Pittsburgh in the third, give them a 2-0 lead. Acuna, the outfielders don't, the right fielder doesn't even move as Acuna gets the leadoff home run in the fourth. Casey now. Schmidt strikes out. Bubba draws a walk. Carl Armstrong grounds it to short. Down to second goes Thompson. Runner at second, 2 outs for Campbell. And Campbell with a base hit to center. There you go. Didn't bring him in for the offense, but a 2-out RBI single. I will take that. Drew Romo line drive to right. So we get the 2 runs right back. Nolan Gorman. Blooper to center. In comes PCA. 1 out. Andy Rodriguez grounds 3 unassisted. And Gavin Sheets, the former White Sox great, with a 2-out base hit to center field. Pitch to Story, and there's a strikeout. So they strand a runner. Both teams 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors through 4. Bregman draws a leadoff walk. Anderson drops another bunt down foul. And lines a base hit to left. So the first 2 batters reach. Over at third is Bregman. Runners at the corners with nobody out. Mikey Romero now. Ground ball to short. Double play. Run scores. We take a 3-2 lead. Acuna draws a walk. Casey Schmidt strikes out again. Not a good game for Casey, but we take the lead. Sawinski. Ground ball to second. There's 1 out. Witt struck out last time. Witt strikes out this time. And Ke'Bryan Hayes. Ground ball to second. A 1-2-3 inning for Burns here in the 5th. Go to the 6th up by a run. Connor Overton in now for Pittsburgh. Strikes out Bubba. Strikes out PCA. And Campbell flies out to center. So a 1-2-3 6th. Reynolds now strikes out. 2-0 pitch to O'Neill Cruz. A bobble or an E4. It's an infield hit. Gorman fly ball to left, 2 away. Endy Rodriguez as O'Neill Cruz steals second. Cruz with a fly ball to center, and PCA makes the catch out in center. And we're up 3-2 going to the 7th. Drew Romo leads it off. Drew to left. 1 out. Bregman strikes out. And Tim Anderson goes deep. That's a solo home run for Timmy Anderson. First home run of the year, and it's a 2-run Cubs lead. Mikey Romero strikes out. So we pick up another run, go to the stretch up by 2. Burns still out there against Gavin Sheets. Grounds it to third. That'll be an infield hit for Gavin Sheets. Eduardo Nunez comes in against Trevor Story. And there's an E6. Okay. Sawinski strikes out. Bobby Witt grounds it to the second baseman. And we can't turn 2. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs. There's a walk. Bases are loaded for Bryan Reynolds. And he grounds to third. And we get the runner at second to get out of the jam. All right, we go to the 8th. Acuna leads off against Garrett Crochet. And he strikes out. Casey Schmidt had a tough one. There's a ground ball to short. 2 away. And Bubba grounds out 3 unassisted. So we go to the 8th. Bottom of the 8th. We're still up by 2. So Neil Cruz against Nunez. Ground ball to the second baseman. 1 out. Foster Griffin comes in against, so we got the lefty on lefty. That's why they did this. Griffin against Gorman. He strikes him out. And Endy Rodriguez. Ground ball to third. And we're up 2 going to the 9th. Crow Armstrong leads off. It's 0 for 4. Campbell now. Double. Extra base hit for Mike Campbell. So he did make an error here on opening day, but he has a couple of hits and an RBI. Runner at second, 1 out. Drew Romo strikes out looking. Bregman trying to get that runner home from third, and he cannot. It's a 5-3 put out. We go to the 9th with a 2-run lead. We should be going to our closer. We are. Merlin Vinicio comes in to try to close this thing down. Faces Gavin Sheets. 1 away. The 0-2 pitch to Story now. Out Story and Yandy Diaz with a 2-out base hit to center field. Witt now. Fly ball to center, and it lands in front of PCA. So 2 on, 2 outs for Ke'Bryan Hayes. And that does it. So we start off the defense of our World Series championship with a 4-2 win on opening day in Pittsburgh. 2 hits and an RBI for Anderson, Acuna, and Campbell. They accounted for all 6 hits, all 6 of our hits. Corbin picks up the win. 6 innings of 2-run, 8K ball. Nunez, Griffin, Vinicio get it done. So that'll do it for opening day. So I will sim now through the middle of May. And then we'll come back and we will do May and June together. So, guys, I will be back in just a minute. All right, guys, we're back. It's the middle of May, and we're off to a really good start. The Reds just a little bit better than us, but we're off to a really, really good start, 26-14. We have the 5th-ranked offense in the National League. Again, pitching and defense is our thing. First in runs against. Defensively, we're 2nd in efficiency, 1st in zone rating. We continue to perform. We have some players performing better than others. Bubba Thompson already at 2.2 WAR. He's hitting 355, on pace for a casual 9-win season for Bubba. I need him stealing more bases. No, he's already jacked all the way up. Yeah, he's having a great year. Mike Campbell. Again, a lot of this is based on his defense, but still he's put up an 800 OPS so far on the season. I knew he wasn't going to hit for a super high average, but I knew that on-base percentage and that slugging should be okay. And he's been, as advertised defensively. Mikey Romero having a good year, 325, 856 OPS, but that's where it falls off. Acuna's having a difficult year and what's likely his last season as a member of the Cubs. He wants $20 million a year. Tim Anderson having a rough year, although he has played better as of late, I think. Yeah, he was really good in May. Struggled in April, was really good in May, or has been really good in May so far. So hopefully he's reverting back to the norm. Romo can't hit, but he can never hit. Casey Schmidt's struggling, which is a bit disconcerting given how he's done the previous 4 seasons. He's still on pace for like 2.5 WAR or 2 WAR, I guess now, because he's still really good defensively. But the bat is struggling a bit. PCA below average, not hitting for any power at all. It's virtually non-existent. He has 3 extra base hits and 117 at bats. Aliendo's not playing much. Corona's been hot as of late over the last couple of games. He's been playing better. Wagner isn't hitting and RJ's not hitting. And then pitching wise, we're doing what we do. Jeralmy Santana 3-3, but 55 strikeouts and 4. He's only allowed 23 hits. Opponents are hitting $1.64 against him. 2.75 FIP. He's just been unlucky. Burns having another good year. Paddock having another good year. Contreras having another good year. Palante's been fine as our 5th starter. Not great, but fine as our 5th starter. And then our bullpen is as good as they've always been. So Edwards, I guess, has been below average, and Abreu has been slightly below average. But other than that, our pen's been terrific. I think we can use less often there. And we'll actually swap these 2. Yeah, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. As always, I'll say I'll edit that out, but I won't. All right. So we're just going to start simming along here. We're half a game out. We got the Cardinals coming to town. Or I guess we're going to St. Louis. We lose the first game 1-0. We got Paddock on the bump today. We win there 3-1. Paddock has his ERA down to 4. A couple hits and an RBI for Romero and Anderson. Mikey with a homer. Paddock pitches 7 shutout. We look to take the series in St. Louis with Santana on the hill. And we do, and we move into first place for the first time this year with a 7-3 victory. 14 hits, 2 hits for PCA, Schmidt, Anderson, Romero. Santana goes 5, strikes out 8. An off day. Before we go to Toronto for 3 games, Brian Bayo pitching for the Blue Jays now. We're a half game up on Cincinnati. We lose the first game 6-5. Lose Bubba for a couple of days. We'll just let the game do its thing. Game 2. Is a win. Angulo's ready to come off the DL, but I think we send him on a rehab assignment because he hasn't pitched in forever. We win 7-6. Anderson's got that average up to almost 280. He goes 3 for 5. Romo, RJ Mayer with a couple of hits. Mikey Romero with 2 hits. Palante gets the win. Brian Abreu has not been good this year. I mean, a 400 BABIP's not... likely not sustainable, but we'll see. All right, so final game against Toronto before we take on the Angels at home. Looking for win number 30 here. And we get it, a big win, 14-1. There we go, offense getting started a little bit here. Mikey Romero, 3 hits, 4 RBIs. Casey Schmidt, 4 for 6. He homers. Corona homers. Has 3 hits. PCA goes 4 for 6. Burns, 6 1/3 shutout. Now we're at home against the Angels and the Dodgers. So the Angels come to town first, and then the Dodgers. Still only half a game up on the Reds. Now a game and a half up on the Reds as we win. Oh, we lost... Bregman for 8 weeks. I forgot to mention that. I'm sure you guys saw him on the DL, but we lost Bregman for 8 weeks. Acuna with a couple of RBIs, couple of doubles for Ron. Paddock goes 6 1/3. Underwood gets the win. He's been really good, 1.91 ERA. Yeah, he's still off with. He wasn't hitting either, $1.85, and his ratings have started to drop because, of course, they have. So we may try to get out from that contract at the end of the year. A year after signing it, but that's what we do. I mean, having Romero at first might be the best solution for us long term. He's not a great middle infielder. So, I mean, he can play passable second base, but maybe first base is his position. I mean, it is for the next couple of years anyway while we have Anderson. All right, game 2, I guess, against the Angels. Another win, 10-9. No walk-off victory. We scored 3 runs in the 6th, 3 in the 7th. Corona, 4 for 5 with 6 RBIs. Wow. 2 doubles. Romero and PCA each with homers. Anderson's up to 286. Santana gets hit hard. 7 runs in 3 2/3. But the back half of our bullpen, that's 4 shutout innings. We look for the sweep now over Shane Bieber. We don't get it. Our lead's a game and a half. Contreras now against the Dodgers. Back-to-back losses. We lose Carson Coleman for 6 weeks. How's Angulo doing? He only pitched in 2 games. All right, so who comes up? Watkins. Give him a shot. Make him a long reliever. So we've lost 2 straight games for the first time in a while. Leads down to half a game. There we go. We bounce back with a 4-2 win with Corbin on the mound. 3 hits for Corona. PCA 2 hits and an RBI. Bubba hits his 6th home run. Burns goes 6. Another win. Back to a game and a half up on the Reds. PCA another starting to hit the ball well. He's up over 300 now. Wagner homers, Romo homers, PCA homers. So the bottom of the order getting it done. Casey's got that average up to 288. Still light compared to where he had been because he's not hitting for any power this year, but still on pace for 4.5 WAR because of that defense. Paddock pitches well. Underwood blows it, but then Griffin and Vinicio do their thing, and we look for 3 out of 4 over the Dodgers. We don't get it. So we split. We won 2 out of 3 against the Angels, split the 4-game series against the Dodgers. And now we have the Yankees at home for 3 games. And a big series in Cincinnati. Game 1 is a 3-1 victory. It was at Contreras on the hill. It was 5 2/3. Home run from Tim Anderson. Game 2, Carlos Rodon going against Palante. Are we kicking to June? Are we already at the end of May? We are. And we win 6-3. Grand slam for Wagner. It is. He's only hitting $190, but a grand slam. Palante gets the win. Player development here. Foster Griffin gets a little worse, but he's pitching fine. Corona gets a little worse. Campbell, the power drops. Still, he's doing the job. Yeah, he's so good defensively. What about our young players? There's Alkins. His overall drops. He's doing okay. He's walking a lot of hitters. Needs that control to come along. But Mike Hawkins was our first-round pick in 2026. Yeah, I don't know. May have to just call him up and see. May just call him up to A-ball and just see how the development kicks off. Orlando gets better. Catcher who can't catch. Brad Hall looks okay. Really good defensively. He's up to a 50. Let's call him up to A-ball as well. Lock down his promotion. Soglio gets worse. That's not unsurprising, but it's still frustrating. AL Hitter of the Month, Dylan Cruz. In the NL, Nelson Velazquez, the former Brave, or the former Cub. Shane Bieber, your Pitcher of the Month in the AL. Alex Vesey as your Pitcher of the Month in the AL. Joel Van Tassel, your Hitter of the Month in the American League. And Woo Jin An is your Pitcher of the Month in the National League for the Reds. And speaking of the Reds, we got them coming up here in a day. So let's start simming along. We're 36-19, 37-19 as we win 8-6. Mikey Romero, Tim Anderson, Casey Schmidt, all with 2 RBIs. Anderson and Corona both homer. Burns doesn't pitch well, but the bullpen picks him up. And now we got a 4-game series in Cincinnati. Game 1. It's a 5-2 win, and we lose Mikey Romero for the season with a broken elbow. Wonderful. So we win 5-2. Looks like Drew Romo with a big hit in the 8th off of the Dolo. Hell. All right. Tommy White, I guess. Or do we go Wilkin? Let's go Wilkin because he was our draft pick, and maybe that'll make a difference. Shoot. Okay, so who leads off for us now? Who is the best on-base percentage? Bubba Thompson? I mean, that's totally batting average driven, but I think we move Campbell. Let's give Campbell a shot at the top of the lineup. So we need now... Wilkin can play against lefties. That hurts. That hurts. Oh, we've won back-to-back games in Cincinnati. Anderson goes 3 for 5. Pete Crow Armstrong goes 3 for 4. Anderson up to 10 home runs. I don't know what it is, but he likes hitting for power here. I think last year was his career high. 25 home runs was his career high last season as a 33-year-old. He's on pace for more than that this year. Santana gets the win. We look for game 3 here. Paul Blackburn against Efren Contreras. Rained out. We got a double header today. And we win 1, lose 1. So we lose first game 5-2. Contreras doesn't pitch well. Schmidt and Crow Armstrong each homer. And in the second game, Anderson's got that average back up over 300 with a 4 for 5. Palante pitches an okay game. So we're 40-20, 3.5 games up on the Reds. And we're without Romero for the year. We get Bregman back in a week, so we'll stick him back at the top of the lineup, even though that contact is starting to drop. We'll stick him back up at the top of the lineup. We're second in runs scored. Second in runs scored, first in runs against, and second defensively. So, I mean, we're still Still playing really good baseball. The Red Sox now. We win the first game 7-1. Burns is 7-3 now. Casey Schmidt hits his 9th home run. So he should be back kind of. Yeah, he's right back to where he had been. 283 average. OPS a little bit light compared to last year, but I don't care. Another game against the Red Sox. And I don't want to jinx it, but we are trucking people right now. We're 42-20. Schmidt with his 10th home run. Romo with his 3rd. Paddock 5 1/3 shutout. Final game of the series against the Red Sox. We lose 4-3. So as soon as I say something, we lose. We got Seattle now in town for 3. Yeah, I should have kept my mouth shut. I say something, we immediately lose 2 games in a row. Immediately lose 3 games in a row. And we lose to Tim Anderson now for 4 to 5 weeks. Okay. Now what do we do? Go back to Poisson because of the defense. Do we go to young Danny McCracken? I think we do. Our 9th round pick in 2026. The bat's passable against righties. We'll go to Danny McCracken. We actually have to call up another bat as well. Burris doing a double-A really well. Cool. Angulo's pitched well. Scouting report on him before we call him up, but I think he's probably up sooner rather than later. Let's call Abreu up. All right, so McCracken will come in at 2nd. This is ridiculous. This is not what I envisioned the top of our lineup to look like. He can't hit lefties at all. So batting 2nd against lefties will be Bubba Thompson, and we'll move everybody down a spot. I guess we bat him 2nd against righties. I mean, he's got a decent eye, decent gap power. We'll see. Backing up at 1st, Wagner. Corona backing up there. Corona backing up here. Same thing here, Corona, and then our backup DH, I guess will be Abreu. Not that I expect him to play much, but all right. Well, we're without our I would say our 3 best contact hitters. So, Alex Padilla, he's a nobody. Let's keep going. All right. Well, hopefully we can maintain through, because we'll get Anderson back in a month, so that's the middle of July. We get Bregman back in a day, so that's a positive. Game 1 against Minnesota is a 4-2 loss, which is not unexpected given our offense is missing most of its good players. So Bregman will come back in, and he'll go in at first base, and he will bat leadoff. Campbell will bat 2nd. And against lefties, Bregman will come back in at 1st, and he will bat leadoff. Campbell will bat 2nd. Got Bubba Thompson there, and we'll do a little bit of that. All right, so we have a 3-game lead on the Reds. It's been a rough patch here with some of these injuries. Here's a nice win, 12-6. Campbell 2 for 6, 3 RBIs. Casey Schmidt 3 for 5. Acuna 3 for 4. Corona 3 hits. Thompson, Aliendo, Crow Armstrong all have multiple hits. Aliendo's been playing well. 305. He's given us a bat that we didn't have otherwise. Three games now against the last place Brewers, so I expect us to lose 2 out of 3 at home. And here's the first one. We win there 9-3. McCracken 3 hits. I didn't expect him to hit, but 6 for his first 17, and he's really good defensively as well. Romo, a couple hits, couple RBIs. Bubba Thompson, a couple hits. Palante is 6-3. Final game of the series now against Milwaukee. We win 2 out of 3. Okay. So we get 3 hits from Bregman. That average up to 244. So he's been hitting since coming back from the DL. That's 6, 8, 9 hits in 4 games. Campbell, 2 more hits. Schmidt, 2 hits. Acuna, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. McCracken has 5 RBIs so far. Corbin Burns, 5 1/3 shutout. And the Padres now. Another win, 15-2. Wow, offense cruises here. Bregman 2 for 6 with 4 RBIs. Wagner 2 hits, 2 RBIs. McCracken 2 hits, 2 RBIs. RJ Mayer 3 for 5 with a home run and a triple. 3 runs knocked in. Aliendo 3 for 5. Bottom of the order, man. Wow. All right, so now we got to call up. I think we send Edwards, Killian. Send Killian down. And call up Gerson Angulo, who pitched really, really well in his time in AAA. So he now comes up to the big leagues, adds us some more depth in middle relief. We'll move Foster Griffin to long relief, avoid high leverage, and we'll keep Simmons. So 26 runs in our last 2 games. We're first in runs scored. First in runs scored, first in runs against. Henry Williams against Jeralmy Santana, and that's a 7-0 win. 3 more hits for Campbell. Crow Armstrong drives in 3. McCracken hitting .357 here in his debut. Danny McCracken, the 5'9", 170-pound scrappy middle infielder, getting it done here so far. Actually, he's playing really poorly at second base, but I think it's because he didn't have a second base rating until we called him up. Let's increase his stolen base strategy as well. All right, game 2 against San Diego is a 4-1 loss. Detroit now. We have a 3-game lead on Cincinnati. It's a shame when the 2 best teams are in the same division. Casey Mize today against Palante. Back-to-back losses. We win 4-2. Hang on just a second, guys. All right, we're back. Sorry. So we win here 4-2 over the Tigers. Bubba Thompson, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. Corona, 2 hits. Bubba homers twice. Burns picks up his 10th win. So it looks like we got Detroit and Washington to finish off the month of June. We lose 3-2 and 10. Our lead's down to 1 game. We lose again, and we're now tied. Where is Washington? Of course, they're 35-44. And they beat us. So we win 4-2. Mayer with 3 RBIs. RJ with a single and 3 RBIs. That works. Contreras is 8-4. Another game at Washington. We lose again, and we lose Crow Armstrong for 3 to 4 weeks. Ugh. That's going to give RJ a chance to get some playing time. Do we go to Burris? Is it too early? I want to say it's too early. We'll just call up Abreu. And RJ is gonna get that playing time that he's been so desperately craving. He's gonna play every day for a couple of weeks. All right, so we're still tied for first. Cincinnati playing some good ball. Last game at Washington. We look to avoid losing the series. And we do lose the series, and we get knocked out of first place. Expiring personnel. We need to bring all these people back because we're winning and things look good. Top 100 prospects. We don't have anybody. Where do we stand? We're 8th. So we got Necker, Alkins, Andrade. Hawkins is now up to 58th. He's pitching really, really badly in A-ball. So I think maybe that was a little premature. So let's go ahead and send him back down to the Arizona Fall League. And then Catano. How's Necker doing in high A-ball? Okay. Okay, he's pitching more than I would like. So let's go in here and stop using him as a two-way player and just let him focus on that bat. All right, I got Milwaukee to finish up the month. We're a half game out of first place. I mean, eventually the injuries are going to come back to bite you, right? I mean, that's going to happen eventually, and it looks like that's starting to happen here a little bit at the end of June. So we win our final game of the month. Yeah, Angulo drops immediately, but he's still pretty good. Still pretty good. So we win 3-2, the final game of the month. 2 hits and an RBI for Thompson. RJ with a couple of hits. Paddock gets the win. All right. So it's July 1st. We are tied for first place with Cincinnati. The next episode will be the July episode. And ultimately, it's what do we need? I mean, we don't have Romero for the year. He's done, which is a damn shame because he was absolutely torching the baseball. Anderson we get back in a week, so we'll slide him back into second, and then I think we let McCracken stay up as our backup second baseman / shortstop. Outfield depth, we're okay, assuming nobody else gets hurt. Pitching-wise, maybe a fifth starter. I'm thinking maybe a starting pitcher and a bench bat. Because Wilkins not really hitting. Corona's not really hitting. Wagner's not hitting. So, yeah, I think maybe a starting pitcher and a bench bat is kind of what we'll look at in the next episode. A couple of bats on the trade block. You got Chris Bryant making $26 million this year. Maybe we can bring Chris back for the rest of the year. Riley Green. The final year of his contract. I mean, that would cost a fortune, I would imagine. But, yeah, so that's going to do it, guys. So we're sitting in first place in defense of our World Series championship. Next episode will be July. We'll do the draft. We'll do the deadline. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for the support. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscriptions. The comments, good or bad, I don't care. I appreciate them. At any rate, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.